What's good? My name is Bailey. I am 20 years old and I am a business owner. And I'm running the brand and I'm the founder of the brand Square One. Camera nearly fell. What do I do? Who am I? How did this all happen? I am a big believer in anything is possible. And that has always stuck with me. For my entire life, I always knew I was different. I always stood out. I always had problems with the kids in school. I didn't want to play football at lunchtime. I just wanted to be me. And now I'm actually in a position where I'm helping other young males and females do exactly the same. Be themselves. Through their music, through their content, through the way they market themselves online. So that's what I do. I help upcoming artists grow their personal brands, build real fans, get out of that place of feeling stuck, feeling like nobody cares about you, feeling like all that hard work that you put into your music just goes to waste. And I wanted to speak a little bit on how I'm in this position now at 20 years old, running my business, having a full team behind me, helping artists, most importantly, making money. But how did I get here? And it started as a little kid. My journey in the creative industry and just being a creative, knowing I'm a creative, started at 5, 6 years old. I was always singing around the house, in the shower, hairbrush as the microphone. It was just something that I loved, like absolutely loved it. I don't believe I ever had the best singing voice, but I loved it, and that was the main thing. And I would do shows on a Saturday night for my mum. My mum's a single parent, and it'd just be us growing up, and my brother, he lived with us as well. And every Saturday night, me and my mum would do the Saturday night shows, and I'd get my speaker out, my little karaoke mic speaker, and I'd set it all up, and I'd do my performances, and I'd have my little Michael Jackson glove, and I'd have my Michael Jackson hat, and I'd put on a show. And that's what I loved doing. Putting on a show, being me, being creative, it was the best feeling. I also knew I was different, and I wanted to do something different, because I was even making YouTube videos from such a young age as well, like that, 6 years old mark, I started creating videos. I don't even know what I posted, but I was just vlogging, being me once again, and just doing what I want, and I loved it. I loved that, just that feeling of being able to just post content and film and have a camera, and I loved it. I had like a camera from the age of 6 years old. And it started off with the singing, it started off with the YouTube vlogs, and I just knew that I wanted to do something more creative, and I just knew I was a creative from them. And it's all got to the point when I was about 8 years old now, and it was probably my toughest year of my life. I had a bike accident in July, maybe end of June 2014, 8 years old. And school had just finished. Summer holidays had just begun. We had 6 weeks off. And the sun was out. I was hanging out with my friends in the street, in the old road we used to live on. And I was doing a little race with one of my friends, and riding the bikes, just like these like mountain bikes, BMXs, sorry. Riding on the BMX, and I'm going down this street, and we're going really fast. And I get to a point where I'm going so fast I lose control. And all I remember was literally losing control, not being able to really get a grip on the bike. I sort of was going so fast that I just lost myself. It was weird, and it's hard to even look back on. And I sort of slipped off the seat, and obviously it's going fast as well. Like I was pedaling really fast, and I slipped off the seat. And as I did, the my hands came off the handlebars, and sort of the handlebars twisted, and they went bang into my belly, and I slipped off the bike. The handlebars smashed into my belly. I sort of ended up like into a parked car, and yeah, the main part and the worst part of it all was the handlebars. They they hit my belly so hard that they caused really bad internal bleeding. I actually tore my kidney, which is insane because the one fun fact I always remember to this day is no one had ever torn their kidney before. That's what I remember them telling me. Like no one had done it in this whole world apparently. So that's what made me different. That's what made me unique. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. So it really hurt, obviously. It was hard. Summer holidays was gone. I spent that whole 6 weeks in hospital. I, yeah, it was difficult. It was very scary. I'm not a fan of hospitals as it is. And it was difficult. You know, it was so long ago now that I struggled to even just think about it all. 2014, time really has flown over 10 years now. But yeah, that was 8 years old, and I crashed my bike, I tore my kidney, and I was at a point where times were really tough. I lost a lot of blood, like really, I lost a lot of blood at certain points throughout this whole summer holidays. And there was times I thought that I wasn't gonna make it. Like, I was losing a lot of blood, and it makes me think how grateful how grateful I am to be alive. And I think that's why I've got such a beautiful view on life now and how I am as a person right now. And it really does come back to that moment of when it all could have gone. Like, my life could have been done in a flash. So it was difficult. Spent the summer in there, had ITV News come in and interview me as well. I wish I could find the clip, it's somewhere. ITV News came and interviewed me, talking about the rare condition that I tore my kidney. They done a procedure in the end. Don't want to go into the ins and outs. Don't need to have some trigger warnings, but they've done a procedure, mini operation, and I was good. Obviously, I'm here now. They stopped the bleeding internally, and I came out of hospital. A couple times, things were still going wrong. Called the ambulance a few times. Remember going back, still having bleeding. Just was a nightmare. But it got to a point where it must have been September, my birthday month as well. I think I was turning 9 years old, and I was better, and it felt so good. And I just remember coming out of hospital when I was fully done and finally done. And I remember the first thing I said to my mum that I want to do is get back on the bike. And it's crazy, but it's true. It's like if you fall off the bike, you're gonna get back on, or you're never gonna get back on again. It's like I was getting back on. Like there was nothing stopping me. In fact, this is where it all started for me, because from 9 years old, like I said, I knew I wanted more. Like even just the main part of this as well was seeing how my life, flashed in front of my eyes. I saw how valuable and how precious time really is. And that's when I really started pushing. I knew I liked singing. I knew I liked being a creative, dancing, doing my acting, Michael Jackson. So I signed up to a drama school. And from 9 years old, I was in a drama school. I'd done acting, singing, dancing. We'd done shows. Some really great moments, like really great times. And I loved it. It was a huge passion of mine. Sorry. Huge passion of mine. I loved it. Yeah, like 10 years old, still doing this. I struggled a lot in primary school. A lot of the kids around me, I remember one thing, they always called it banter, but everyone sort of used to make fun. It's like, no one else was a boy doing singing and acting and dancing. And everyone would just sort of laugh at me. And yeah, it was uncomfortable. It didn't feel nice. But once again, these are the sort of things that make me who I am today. Like, I could never let someone hate on me, never let a comment bother me. Like, I'm not like that. But I used to be really sensitive. Of course, I was young and fragile. But yeah, I kept going. And that's me. That's why I run the brand that I do. Square One, if you look inside the word square, you are. Like, that's my biggest part. Like, you just got to always make sure you're doing. Like, keep going. As you can see, it's crossed out in terms of the words are you. And it's you are. Almost that flip of not saying, are you going to do something? Are you going to carry on? Are you going to keep pushing when times get that tough? It's like, no, you are. And there's no other questions. And that's why it goes so much deeper with the brand that I run, with the artists that I help. Because when I do help an artist, I'm helping my younger self. I'm helping them do more. I'm helping them get through the hardest times. Like when I was sitting in hospital, seeing that I today could be my last day. So it's like the power of doing. And I kept going. Not to go too off track, but I kept going. Through primary school, I didn't care what people thought, even though I did. I cried a lot. But I just kept going, and I kept doing what I wanted to do and how I wanted to live my life. And it was amazing. I saw some really great, I'd done some really great things. I performed in many different theatres. I ended up performing in the West End, doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Mary Poppins, up in London. And it was some of the greatest experiences of my life. And that was when I knew, oh my God, I'm a performer. Like, I love performing. I love it. It was so great. It was so great. And yeah, I got to, so that was like 9 till 12 years old, like I said. And I got to around 12, 13. I'm sure, yeah, it's like the secondary school age. Yeah, year 7. I started out year 7, started school, started high school. And I struggled again. I feel like I struggled to fit in. I struggled to make friends. I was constantly trying to fit in with people that were completely different to me. You know, I always say this thing, it's like everyone was playing football. I just wanted to make music. I wanted to be in the music room. And yeah, I started school, and 12, 13 years old was pretty hard for me. I got into rapping. I don't know what it is. It must have just been, I don't know. I actually couldn't put my finger on it even to this day within this video. I couldn't put my finger on what it was that clicked. I think it was a friend of mine, and we used to sort of like pen tap and stuff in school. And yeah, we do that pen tapping, and we do like freestyles to it. And I think that was the sort of thing that got me going. No, you know what? You guys have just witnessed it in the moment. That was the moment. One of the biggest moments probably of when I started rapping, which is mad to think. I mean, how many things I've achieved, and it started from there. But yeah, I was always into like music and stuff. But yeah, the rapping specifically, it must have just been the pen tapping and just freestyling in year 7. And I got to a point where I went to my first studio session. My first song was a Fortnite song. It was like year 7, year 8. I dropped the song and I got a shit ton of hate. It was almost like just experiencing everything that happened all over again. Primary school, people laughing, people saying, just quit, just stop, what are you doing? That's so weird, that's so different. And just once again, people were like, oh my God, what are you doing? And it was cringe. It was, I was rapping, I was year 7, I had a little roadman voice, I was making a song about a game, Fortnite, and yeah, I lost a lot of confidence. I feel like this is where my lack of confidence comes from. Maybe it doesn't seem like it on this video, but it's something I've really struggled with, and it's something I don't talk about much, but I'm really passionate about making sure I'm constantly improving the confidence in myself. And yeah, it's something I do every day, like I believe facing the things that are hard, facing the things that, challenge you a little bit, build up your confidence, That's one of the main reasons why I run 3 times a week. I managed to run a half marathon a couple months back, and I'm passionate about it because I know it goes so much deeper. It's not just, I want to be a runner, I want to run a marathon. It's like, I'm building my confidence. I'm building the strongest version of myself. So yeah, it knocked my confidence, dropping that song, having a load of hate, but I got through it. And I just kept going. Like, I saw rapping, I saw singing as a way to express my emotions, to express how I feel. I wrote a lot of real rap. I've done like my first ever performance at this thing in Stratford where I was doing sort of like a knife crime freestyle, like, stop the knife crime. It was quite sweet. And yeah, it was just like honestly my way of expressing how I feel about things, how I feel about the world. And I just kept going, and I did push a lot. I pushed a lot of content out there. I pushed a lot of music. I started going to the studio more. Bearing in mind, I'm still getting a lot of hate online, in person, in school, having physical arguments, having just constant problems with the kids, getting myself into trouble, getting myself into detentions because of how I'd react to certain people. And it was just not good. I didn't enjoy primary school. I didn't enjoy secondary school. And yeah, so that was like 12, 13 years old. And then 12 to 14, 12, 13, 14 years old was like the prime time. Prime time of the hate. Prime time of dropping music. Prime time of getting nowhere. Literally just hoping that everything would work. Hoping. Trying and hoping. And that's why I'm so passionate about, being consistent, because I've been so consistent. Once again, it goes so far back. Like, my story's insane, but like looking at primary school, where I was in drama school, I was acting, I was singing, I was dancing, I was doing all these things, and people hated me. I kept going, I was consistent, I wouldn't stop because of what people thought. It was the same here. It was like, okay, this is phase 2, but I just got to get through it. And of course it paid off, because, I hit 15 years old. I saw my first 100,000 streams on my independent song, Born Different. I started building fans all around the world. I dropped my song, Very Good, Very Nice. Once again, probably a lot of hate again. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to get hate as a music artist. So it's not something that I ever escaped. I'm not sitting at the top saying, I've made it as a music artist and no one hates on me. Music artists are always going to have hate. But yeah, 15, massive song called Very Good, Very Nice, hit the iTunes charts, the TikTok charts. It was number 3 on the TikTok charts alongside some of the names like Calvin Harris. And it's one of the biggest songs in TikTok history. So that was Very Good, Very Nice. And it almost felt like, I've at that point of trying, posting music, posting content, getting nowhere, everyone laughing, people bullying at my lowest. And then, just that couple years difference of just staying consistent, staying what I need to do, getting to that point at 15 of having millions of streams, having fans around the world, having thousands of monthly listeners, millions of views on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, you name it. And yeah, 16, I was streamed by millions around the world. I think I hit the 10, 20 million mark. On Spotify total, on some songs alone, just certain songs have around 10, 11 million on my Spotify. You can check that for yourself under the name BCK. And yeah, I had fans. I was getting recognised in public a lot. I performed at shows around the UK. I performed at these shows and people were singing the lyrics back to me. And that's when I really felt like, geez, like, Mum, I made it. I've made it. And it felt good. Like, was it 16 we left school? Yeah, so 16, it was funny, and I always tell this story to people because I left school and, sorry, got a pain. I left school and it was funny how the kids were coming up to me, and everyone in the lower years were like coming up to me for pictures, and even the kids in my year were coming up to me for pictures, for signatures. Yo, Bailey, like, the music's so good, you're everywhere. Let me get a picture. Let me get a signature. And he was like, yeah, that felt good. From a point where everyone would laugh at you, even all the lower years, like, everyone would laugh at you, higher years laughing at you, saying, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing. That's so cringy. Stop the music. It's like, nah, I just want to keep going. And you just prove to everyone, like, anything's possible, because I'm now leaving the school and everyone's coming to me for a picture. So it's funny. And yeah, they were really the prime time. So, messaging that is just always keep flipping going, man. Always keep going. It's so true. Exactly, to go even further down back to where we were, like in hospital, I kept going. There wasn't a time where I thought, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. The pain's too much. I'm losing too much blood. Like, it was always just keep looking up. Literally. So yeah, 17, 18 years old, whatever one it is. I'm sure it's 17 you leave school. About 17, I started music college. I didn't enjoy it too much. I love music, don't get me wrong. To be fair, I did like aspects of it. Like, we had a studio there, just chill there most days. Like, so different to school, record freestyles, etc. But I thought I almost fell off a little bit. I got a bit inconsistent. of still having millions of streams around the world, like I still do now. And fans, thousands of monthly listeners, thousands of followers. But I got a bit inconsistent. I think I struggled with the writing, most importantly. I struggled with writing the actual music. I still liked making content, but I was just struggling to actually get my words out. To this day, still not sure what exactly caused that, but I knew that I still loved making content. I was making little skits and stuff. And I had a really great following. I'm 17 by this time, had my biggest songs out, still pushing the music. But I think one of the things that did hold me back, okay, this is right. I feel like I struggled to reach the things that I like, the really big songs that I hit, like 10 millions, tens of millions of streams on like one song, Very Good, Very Nice, is on, 12 million to this day. It was like I looked at that and I thought, well, is this possible again? And for me, it felt like I had to get a my next song, or the songs that I drop, they need to be bigger than that. And I'm not sure why I had this mindset, and that's why I say I got so lost in the views, I got so lost in the numbers. It's part of why I'm here today, helping music artists start from square one, because you can't have that mindset of getting so trapped in the numbers. I've been there. I've been at that point where I'm like, damn, like, forget it. I'm just gonna get inconsistent. I'm just not gonna drop my music because, this song done better, and now I'm trying to get 1 million streams and I can't even get 100,000. Like, what's going on? It's like, no, we can't get so lost in the numbers. Like, we need to remember why we were here in the first place, because we're different, because we're creatives, because we're people that want to have a change in the world, because we've got a message, because we've got stories to tell, because we want to retire our mum, because we want to help our family and be financially free. That's the sort of things we need to think about. So, and that's when it hit me. 19 years old, I had an idea. I sat down with my friend from my part-time job, Richard, and I said to him, bro, I want to make a business. I want to build a brand. I want to do something. I want to build a creative media company, I called it, in them exact words, where I can help music artists grow their content. Why? Because I was in that exact same position. I tried posting content. 12 to 14 years old, my prime time of hate, posting content, getting nowhere. Being an absolute embarrassment, to get into a point where I've got millions of streams around the world. I've performed in front of thousands. I've been getting recognized in public for the last few years. And it's like, it felt so good. And I wanted to help others do the same. So that's when I had it, 19 years old, to create this business, to create this brand that is going to change the world, that is going to change music artists forever, to have the biggest impact on how artists market themselves. And don't get me wrong, I was 19, started the business, made no money, really, barely nothing. Yeah, literally made not much money at all. Jumped on loads of calls, tried different things. Everything was really hard. Like, I worked in different ways. I used to sort of, if you guys want to know, like, I specifically used to build content calendars for artists. That's how the brand started. We almost built this strategy calendar with all the plans and stuff inside for them, like if they worked with us. It just didn't work because it just, we're just deciding how they're going to go and create content, and it's like, nah, you have to have your own input as well. So it didn't work, and I started this business with a few friends of mine, by the way. Maybe I've gone a bit too far forward. But yeah, I started with Richard and two other friends of mine, Tom and Lewis. And yeah, we launched it January 2025. Within the first few months, Richard, Tom and Lewis left. Richard realised this isn't what he's passionate about. He never really was in the music industry himself, and this just wasn't him, which was fair enough. And me and Richard are best sister friends to this day. We've been through some rough patches, but yeah, it wasn't him. And then Tom and Lewis, they struggled a little bit to make the time, and they were working already in their jobs that they had. And yeah, everyone sort of split up, and it was just me. And it was a struggle, don't get me wrong. Like, 19 years old, 2025, it was the hardest year, and it was the first proper year in business. And everyone sort of left at a time where I was working with I was working with a couple clients. I had people paying me, and it's like, I've just lost 3 of my team members that co-founded this business with me. So it's like, what do I actually do? And once again, we come back to it. I just kept going. And yeah, I think this is the perfect time to get to where I am now. I kept going. I'm now 20 years old. I've quit that part-time job. I work for myself. I have a full team. I help music artists every day. I'm currently working with 17 different rappers, singers, and producers. I'm making good money. I post good content. I'm growing followers. People still stream my music. And life's great. There's one thing that I always kept doing, and that was doing. So that's me. That's my story. And I want to change the music industry for good. Like I said, I'm helping artists grow their personal brands, grow their content through the way they market themselves. Very much focused on the way we post our content and actually connect with our audience. That's a big part in terms of what I'm helping the artists do at the moment. Really building them relationships with the viewers and the target audience that we have. And that's my main role right now. And that's how I got here. Honestly, I'm living the dream life. I have all the freedom in the world. This morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, I hear my mum getting ready to go for a walk. I say, "Mum, can I go for a walk with you?" She's like, "Yep, amazing, sun's out. Go for a walk, 2 hours out my day, get home 12 o'clock, come and do some work." Living the absolute life. Like, the freedom is the best part, the flexibility is amazing. And the most important part is I'm passionate and I love what I do. That's what I've always done. Primary school, I was passionate, I kept doing what I love to do. Secondary school, I was passionate, I kept doing what I love to do. And now, 20 years old, still in the music industry, more in the content and marketing side, but helping artists grow their content because I knew how it felt. So if there's one thing you should take away from this video, apart from just understanding me more and who I am and what my story is that anything's possible. And just keep doing. Take care.